that
It's part of my therapy.
that we're not going to do this.
Sorry.
No talking. Remember for linear systems, there's 3 different ways to solve: graphing, substitution, and elimination. So we've done the graphing, which that's my least favorite. My second least favorite is substitution. My favorite is elimination. But a lot of people go between substitution. Most people hate graphing. That's just true. Like, that's the least. But a lot of people go between substitution and elimination, liking those, because algebraically it's easier to find if you get a decimal. You don't have to guesstimate where it's at. It gives you exactly what the answer is. So substitution is exactly what it says. If I have a substitute teacher, who does that substitute teacher replace?
You.
Me. So when the substitute comes in, they take my spot and I'm not here. That's the same thing that goes on here. So if I give you something that looks like this. Hold on, I picked out. If I give you something that looks like this. X plus 12y is equal to 68. And x equals 8y minus 12. Some of the reasons that we don't want to have to graph every time are if you get a decimal, a lot of times you have to guesstimate what that is. But also, if you're graphing something that's got these crazy numbers, it's just not feasible to really graph. So algebraically is a little bit easier. Here's what you want to do for substitution. Step 1 is you want one variable by itself. Meaning you want it to be like x equals something or y equals something in one of your equations. Sometimes our next one you'll have to work to make that, but this one is given to you that way. So if I tell you that x is equal to 8y minus 12, I'm going to take this 8y minus 12 and I'm going to plug it into this x right here. Okay? I'm substituting 8y minus 12 into this x right here, because that's what x is equal to. So we're just going to rewrite it. 8y minus 12 plus 12y equals 68. So I have done zero math. All I've done is substituted in what x equals. So that's step 2. Substitute into the other equation. So now in this equation, when I've substituted, now it just becomes a simple algebra problem because you only have one variable. Before I couldn't solve for anything because I had an x and a y. Now I have just y's, so now I just need to solve. So here I combine like terms. 8y plus 12y is 20y. Minus 12 equals 68. What do I need to do here?
Add 20, add 12 to this.
Add 12. I wrote 20. So I have 20y is equal to 80. So what does y equal? 4.
Is that it?
Well, we need to know what x is also. We need to know x and y because what are we finding on the graph? What did we point where they cross? So I need a point. I need an x and a y. So I found the y. Now I can plug the y into either equation 1 or equation 2 and solve. So I would probably plug into number 2 because x is already solved for. So here it's just doing math. It's not doing algebra. So I can plug into this to the bottom one, but it doesn't matter which one you plug into. So I have x is equal to 8 times 4 minus 12. 8 times 4 is 32 minus 12. So x is equal to 20. So if I was to graph this, looks like 22 theta. If I was to graph this, I would have to graph it big enough so that it's intersecting at 24. So that's why algebraically is better for real life problems. Okay?
Okay, so what if that second one wasn't solved for x?
Well, you could plug into it. But it will something will be.
I'm saying for the first step.
Oh, that's my next example.
Okay, sounds good.
So here we go. So my next examples, you're going to have to do a little work. So I have 3x, and it doesn't have to be x. It just needs to be a variable. 3x plus 5y equals 13. 2x plus y equals 4. So in this case, I don't have a variable that's already solved for, like x equals blah or y equals blah. So you have to do a little work to move stuff around to have that variable. It doesn't matter which variable you choose the easiest one. So what is the easiest variable to solve for up here? Which y? Top or bottom? Bottom y, because it doesn't have a number in front of it you have to divide. If I was having to solve for this x, I would have to move this 5y over and then divide by a 3, and I'd end up with a bunch of fractions. It can be done, but then you're dealing with a bunch of fractions. So I want to solve for this y here. How do I move this 2x? Subtract it over. So I have y equals negative 2x plus 4, or 4 minus 2x. So here's my equation 1. Here's my equation 2, and here's my equation 3. 2 and 3 are exactly the same, just written differently. So we're going to take this negative 2x plus 4, and where am I going to substitute it? What variable am I going to substitute into?
You're going to substitute it in for y.
Into the y, because that's what y equals. So this is going to go here. And remember, when you substitute something, it's no longer there. If I have a substitute teacher, I am no longer here. So I have 3x plus 5 times what?
2x plus
Negative 2x plus 4. And that's equal to 13.
So 5 is
distribute.
negative 10.
And then distribute.
20.
Okay, you guys do this work on your own paper. And we'll compare notes. Okay, let's see if everybody got the same x as I did. Did you get x equals 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I need to plug this x in, and I need to solve for y. I have 3 choices. I can go into equation 1, I can go into equation 2, or I can go into equation 3. All 3 will work. There is one that's easier. What's the easier equation?
2.
Nope.
3.
3. Because if you plug in here, you don't have to move anything around. It's already solved for.
Okay.
Now, because you're looking for y. But if you want to plug into 1 or 2, you'll get the same answer. You'll just have to move something around, but we're all capable of that. So, plug in 1 here. I get y is equal to negative 2 times 1 plus 4. So y is equal to 2. So this, if I were to graph these two, they would cross at the point 1, 2.
Seems simple enough.
Yeah. I like substitution. I like elimination even better. That's why I kind of end with that. Okay, I'm going to give you guys one to work with on your own. But before you start, let's decide on what variable to solve for so our work is all the same. So let's say I have 2x minus 3y equals 6. And x plus y equals negative 12. So here you kind of have a choice.
Let's do the x plus y.
Okay, so which variable in the x plus y do you want to solve for?
X
X?
minus y.
Okay, so we're going to subtract our y over. So I have x equals negative 12 minus y.
Correct.
Okay, so here's my equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. You guys finish this problem all the way to the end. You could do it. I think you can. Be careful with the negatives. going to start my work up here, so if you're lost, you can watch me.
So now we're solving for x persistence or y persistence?
We did. No, well, we solved for x right here. And then I'll let you guys go. And now your first answer you get will be y equals. Okay, so we're substituting in negative 12 minus y into this x up here, into our other equation, right? Everybody good with that? Remember, when you substitute, you replace it. So the x is no longer going to be there. So that gives me 2 times negative 12 minus y, and then I have minus 3y equals 6. So I distributed my 2. I got negative 24, negative 2y. Combine like terms, so negative 24 minus 5y equals 6. So I'm going to add my 24 over. So I have negative 5y equals 30. So what does y equal? Negative 6. Then what do we want to plug into to find our x? 1, 2, or 3? 3. So I've got x is equal to negative 12 minus a negative 6. What happens with this minus a negative? Okay. Okay. So this is negative 6. So x is negative 6 and y is negative 6. So if you were to graph these two, it would intersect at negative 6, negative 6. What questions do you have? Everybody good? Ready for your little assignment today? That if we could go over, that'd be great. What time are we done? Wednesday, 7th hour. Oh yeah. Okay, so you've got 20 minutes to get just a handful of problems done. So we're going to go on page 146. And I want to go over these answers before you leave. 11, we'll do 11, 14, 15, 59. No, we'll do 11, 14, 15, 16. I'm giving you 4 problems in 20 minutes so that we can go over it and just make sure you're doing it right today.